Take a deep breath in. As you breathe in a resourceful feeling of relaxation. And as you exhale, get a sense that you're letting go of feelings of tension. With your eyes closed, notice that you can give all of your attention to the sound of my voice. As you breathe in, imagine you're breathing in a resourceful feeling of relaxation. And as you exhale, I want you to get a sense that tension, but any feelings of undesirable emotions are leaving your body in your outward breath. Breathing in that resourceful feeling of relaxation, and then just exhaling anything that you don't need right now. Imagine stress leaving your body in your outward breath. Imagine any feelings of shame leaving your body in your outward breath. Notice if there's any clues or signs of suppressed anger. And as you breathe in that resourceful feeling of relaxation, allow any echoes of anger to just leave your body in your outward breath. Scan your body for any feelings of frustration. Breathe in that resourceful feeling of relaxation, and then just set the intention to let go of that frustration, allowing it to leave your body and noticing that tension goes with it, meaning that you can go deeper and deeper relaxed just by breathing in and breathing out. Perhaps you can remember a time when you were a child. Maybe you used to go to the library and borrow books. And sometimes you would give back certain books and take out new books from the library. And I want you to imagine as you breathe in and breathe out, you are taking the emotions, the books that represent unuseful emotions, out of the library of your mind, of your soul, and starting to give back books that you used to have a connection with a long time ago. Things like self-love, connection, understanding, empathy for yourself. As you breathe in and breathe out, you're letting go of what's not useful, and you're returning what is incredibly useful. And notice that your body, as it releases that tension, you feel more at peace with yourself, deeper feelings of relaxation, enabling you to delve into your imagination. I want you to create an image in your mind of a house in a tropical climate with a huge tree, perhaps a rain tree, a very old tree. And I want you to imagine, just like Mary Poppins walking into the picture and then being in that reality. I want you to imagine walking around this old house, recalling the different rooms, maybe walking up the stairs. Maybe there are reminders of certain things from the past. But this is just you reconnecting with a time in your life where you had access to certain resources that would be incredibly useful for you now. There'll be things that you see that are linked to emotions that are positive, fond memories. That's it. Relax your eyelids. Release any tension in your forehead, around your jaw. That's right. I want you to imagine as you walk around this house, that there is a particular room in this house. I want you to imagine that you're in that room. And I want you to imagine that you are holding on to heavy things in all different parts of your body. I want you to imagine perhaps you've got heavy rocks in your pockets, different pebbles, maybe bits of metal. And I want you to get a sense that you've been carrying this around for a long time. And I want you to decide that it's time to let go of these things that you've been carrying. Things that represent emotions that you don't need. And one by one, I want you to empty your pockets. And just imagine you're wearing clothes with so many pockets, all filled with heavy things. Keep emptying your pockets until all of this metal and rocks and pebbles and stones are just all laid out in front of you. And accept the suggestion that you've been carrying these around for a long time. And it hasn't made you feel any better. It's just been weighing you down, taking your energy away. But also, you could have wonderful things in those pockets. But how can you have wonderful things in the pockets if they're already filled up with things that aren't serving you anymore? I want you to stand up and just get a sense of how light you feel having let go of all of these things that you've been carrying for a long time. And then I want you to walk around the house and find objects that represent powerful positive emotions. Maybe there's an item that represents love, an item that represents positivity or optimism. These don't have to be real items, they can be symbols. A key can represent opportunities. A tiny mirror can represent self-reflection. I want you to get a sense that in this house are lots of things that are symbols that connect with emotions. Maybe there's an item of jewelry, and that represents a certain emotion that you need right now. Maybe it is self-love, or maybe self-belief or inner strength. All these pockets that have recently been emptied now contain things that improve the quality of your life. It's time to leave this house, and I want you to walk out to the garden and imagine there is a blanket or a mat in front of this beautiful rain tree, this very old tree. Feel the warmth, the humidity. Hear what you would have heard at the time. And I want you to imagine putting yourself in a pose where you can deeply relax. You're looking at the tree and you're connecting with the energy of that tree. Almost seeing an aura around that tree. And I want you to feel a transference of energy. That this tree, that perhaps is thousands of years old, has access to every possible emotional resource that you need. And as you connect into the aura of the energy of that tree, I want you to get a sense that whatever has been missing is now being recharged, filling up. Your emotional fuel tank is being filled to the brim. The battery pack of your resources and your energy is being filled up. And as you breathe, as you would breathe if you were doing yoga and meditation, and as you connect with that deep part within, I want you to give permission to yourself that it's okay to struggle. It's okay to go through tough times. There is no rule that says that you have to be perfect. No rule that says it's not okay to feel frustrated or angry sometimes. I want you to forgive yourself for the harsh words and criticism you've given yourself. The first act of self-love is self-forgiveness. And when you've truly forgiven yourself, let me know by nodding your head. That's right. Because you can't love yourself unless you're able to trust yourself and like yourself. You went through challenging times. You did the best you could with the resources you had. But it's now time to access even more powerful resources. I want you to tap into all of those infinite powers that's coming from this tree, giving you a sense of resilience, a sense of deep inner strength, a true connection with yourself. And in this place, I want you to accept the suggestion that when you truly love yourself, when you truly believe in yourself, when you truly connect with yourself, you are more able to cope with life's challenges. And therefore, if you can cope with life's challenges, why would you need external things to help you cope? Sometimes the best way of coping is to acknowledge that it's not a requirement to cope all the time. It's okay to feel stressed, because the stress will pass. It's okay to feel overwhelmed, because that is just one page in a very big book. It's okay to feel any emotion, because all emotions pass. They're all temporary. They're like leaves falling from a big old tree. Wherever they fall, the wind will take them away. And there will always be new and different leaves on that same tree. I want you to imagine about you in the future. And I want you to see yourself strong, resilient, but also vulnerable. Acknowledging that you don't need to be perfect in order to deal with life. And I want you to see yourself dealing with challenges. See yourself dealing with sad news. See yourself dealing with adversity and stress in a way where you let go of the old belief systems that you have to handle it in a particular way. This version of you does not handle it like a martyr, but certainly doesn't handle it like they're invincible. I want you to see yourself as resourceful, doing the best you can, keeping on track, making progress, living life the way you want to. But I want you to see the key difference is how you deal with uncomfortable emotions. I want you to see yourself using meditation, using yoga, using music, using nature, or using movement of your body as a way of coping. And notice that that version of you is so much better equipped. Because in the past, you've taken one step forward and one step back. Whereas this version of you is able to learn from the past, to get stronger, wiser, and to know that there are so many different options that you have in order to keep moving forward. I want you to return to that place in front of the tree, and I want you to reconcile any old emotions with this place. Any feelings of sadness, you can let them go. Just walk around this tree, this house, until you can reach a point of gratitude. When you've let go of any emotions that are no longer useful or empowering for you, and you've let them all go, and you've connected with a sense of gratitude that this was once home, let me know by nodding your head. That's right. I want you to say goodbye to this place, knowing that you can revisit here whenever you want, within your imagination. Simply by closing your eyes, you can be right there in front of that tree, reconnecting with all these wonderful resources and emotions, mindfully escaping whatever you temporarily need to escape from. As you realize that all of this, the tree, the house, the stones and rocks that you've discarded, the wonderful items that you've acquired, they're all just thoughts within thoughts, ideas within ideas, dreams within dreams. As you then return to the present, listening to my voice, exactly where you are right now. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Just wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, get a sense that all parts are returning to the present, completely in this moment, activating a feeling of resourcefulness, understanding and compassion for yourself, accepting forgiveness for the past, and a willingness to explore other alternatives in the future. Starting to count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.